Let's do this, people.
All right, we're going. We're cranking.
Hey, what's going on, people? I am Nigel Fullerton. Here sitting next to me is Stephen May. This is the show, The Jump Cut. Yes, The Jump Cut. It is a show where we talk movies, TV, and pop culture.
Pop culture?
Yeah, pop culture.
Pop culture.
Pop culture.
We made a new genre, people.
Hey, I try.
Get with it.
I try. I'm sorry.
Are you?
Yeah, well, basically today we will be talking about the movies Ma, also Rocketman, X-Men, and the show When They See Us.
Well, there had to be, there's The Endless, too.
Oh, yes, The Endless. Yeah, that is right. Sorry.
Oh, what a dumpster fire of a movie.
You chose to watch that. So.
All right, so I do this thing called horror movie night with like a group of friends. Mm-hmm. And with what we usually do is we either watch a really good or really bad movie. It's complete luck of the draw.
Okay.
So it's I just want to make sure we're live.
Sure.
So it's when we're doing it, it's usually along the lines of like, hey, this could go either way. And with The Endless, it was described as like a really cool movie. But anyway, let's go into Geek News first.
All right, sure. We're going to Geek News. Basically, this week is E3, so there's a lot of news to go through. So what we're going to do is rapid fire through this, okay?
So first, I want to start off just saying Umbrella Academy.
Umbrella Academy.
Next, the final issue is coming out on... Hold on, I'm looking at Gerard Way's Instagram. The final issue for Hotel Oblivion Volume 3 is coming out in June 12th. Okay. And the entire trade will be coming out September 2019 of this year.
Nice.
2019 of this.
Go to your Barnes and Nobles.
Go to your comic book shop. Have fun.
All right. Revealed at E3 2019, it was a Mario Party style Simpsons game that's in the works at EA.
Ugh. EA is so boring. All right, so first thing I gotta preface this. Mm-hmm. I used to love playing video games, and I still do. I do the stream every week for Steve Squared.
Okay.
But over time, I just got less and less interested, I guess, in E3. I don't know. I think it might just be going downhill.
It has been going downhill for a while.
So the way E3 started is it was meant to be geared for stockholders.
Right.
That's why, like on the infamous PlayStation, that's why the infamous PlayStation stream was like, oh well, look at our sales. Look how much money we're saving on these consoles, or how much we're losing. But now it's more implemented towards people since E3 in 2017, I believe, opened up to the general consumer.
Well, yeah, it opened up to the general consumer, but also a lot of people weren't showing up at E3. So Sony has its own thing in December where they...
PlayStation Experience,
where they show everything there instead of going to E3.
But to be fair, like, they have some big games in the works, and they show them way too early.
Yes, they do.
For The Last of Us, they should have showed The Last of Us, like... Oh my God! They should have showed The Last of Us probably a year and a half to 2 years before it launches, because like they showed it so long ago, and yeah, it was like a show don't tell kind of thing. But then they should have done it the way Nintendo did. The way Nintendo did it, where they showed you, hey, we're making Metroid Prime 4. We're not telling you anything about it. Here's just a logo.
Well, they did the same thing with Spider-Man.
They did the same thing with Spider-Man, but things though is that they showed Spider-Man footage for the next like 2 years.
Yeah.
So then that kind of got like, great. I want to know when this is coming out. They did it with Watch Dogs too for Ubisoft,
which is one of the things we're talking about. I might as well say that right now. The new Watch Dogs is coming out as well.
Yeah, that looks interesting.
Does it? I heard good things about the second one. The first one sucked. The second one I own, but I've never finished it because I just couldn't.
Wi-Fi.
I just couldn't get into it.
The first Watch Dogs is trash unless you use a trainer. Like if you use like a trainer and you get like infinite of that like slow-mo ability, and you just walk around with just a suppressed pistol and just kill everyone, you feel like a badass. You're at the top of the world.
I do the same thing in GTA.
You do, but it's just kind of different because like you can go and hack the systems and you can like kill people remotely and stuff.
Okay.
It's slightly different. Watch Dogs 2 had more emphasis on using the world to your favor. So you had like you had rovers you can drive around and things like that. 3, from what I heard, is co-op too, right?
Yes.
So that alone brings me more interest because the way they did co-op for the other 2 games.
All right, next one. So the trailer for Marvel's Avengers by Square Enix dropped this week, and a lot of people weren't liking it. Did you see it?
For Avengers?
Yes.
It looks... So it's made by...
Square Enix.
Square Enix, I think Eidos in Montreal.
Yeah.
That one. That's the same branch of Eidos that made Arkham Origins, I believe.
Oh, God.
Either that or Australia was... Gearbox Australia is for a pre-sequel. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But... looking at the gameplay, it looks like kind of a bare bones thing. I think it's going to be. I think at the very least the combat's going to be fun.
I don't
Moose,
like.
thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, I don't like the way they look. I mean, they gave Black Widow a stronger chin. Like, Thor still has the.
They made him more comic booky,
and I get that, and I'm cool with them being comic booky. My issue is the fact that we're so used to looking at the Avengers as the Avengers, and even when I compare this game to, Ultimate Alliance and the Marvel vs. Capcom that came out Infinite, I can compare it to that, and I'm like, it doesn't even look like those. So I don't know what they're trying to do. Like, I understand that there was before the whole MCU, there were actually these characters. They don't even look like the cartoons.
No, they don't. Well, first of all, the footage that we saw, it looks like to be the very beginning of the game.
Yes.
So I don't think they want to show too much because, like, Spider-Man, they did a good job with what they showed at first.
And that was good. These guys are beefy and bulky.
Sucker Punch should have probably done this one. Either that or, like, straight up Rocksteady.
It should have been, because they're trying to do a video game MCU and it's not working.
The combat looks like Rocksteady.
Yeah.
And it's not Rocksteady, so I don't know how it's going to hold up.
Rocksteady did the Batman, right?
Yeah, they did the Arkham series.
Yeah, they're doing a new one too, by the way.
I heard they were doing Superman. I heard that as a rumor.
I heard Batman.
Another Batman?
Yeah, another Arkham.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue.
All right, we already talked about Watch Dogs. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Hi.
Yeah, you're excited about this.
It's not because it's a Star Wars game. I'm not like a Star Wars nerd.
Okay.
But like it looks like The Force Unleashed. I don't know if you played it.
I've seen gameplay from it, I never played it.
That game
That was on PS2, right?
It was on 360 PS3.
Okay.
That game is so much fun because like it's not a sandbox, it's more linear.
Okay.
But you get to grab people, you get to throw them, you get to crush like TIE fighters out of the air with your hands when you're powerful enough. You could change your lightsaber cores and everything, make it fully personalized. And it's just like it's a good progression and it makes you feel really cool while you're playing it.
It looks cool.
And I heard that in Fallen Order from people that are at E3 right now, or I think they're leaving now. But they said that Fallen Order apparently has it where it's more open world centric. You could jump between planets at your own like will, and it's like you can go around and explore environments and such. So that seems pretty fun. And it also, the graphics, they don't look like they're going for the super photorealism. There's still some charm to it, and that's what I like.
And that's cool. Yeah. I like that. Let's go to the next one. Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Very cautiously optimistic because Sun and Moon was not fun.
Well, I heard that you can use the Pokeball with this.
You could. You could put a Pokemon in your Pokeball, and then you could walk around with it.
Okay.
But that's like the same deal of Let's Go. But I don't know. What do you think? It's going to be a Switch title, so that's what I'm kind of excited about. An actual Switch Pokemon main series game.
Next one is Doom Eternal. Another Doom game.
That's a blunder there, press conference.
You watched this one?
Yeah, I watched all of them. The Doom Eternal, it's the only thing I like about it is the Doot skin.
Okay.
But Doom Eternal is probably going to be fun. I know with Doom 1, what kept me playing was a lot of the custom content.
Okay.
And the multiplayer was a lot of fun. It's pretty underrated on that game. Yeah. But aside from that,
I haven't been a fan of Doom in like forever.
You should play Doom 4.
Doom 4?
Doom 4 is like, it's euphoric, man. You just find a flow and you go with it.
All right, next one, Cyberpunk.
Oh, yes.
How do you feel about that?
So apparently because of Sony's new terms of service that they have to cut out all the nudity from the game. So if you saw the 45-minute gameplay, the first thing you see is they take out like a naked android out of like a bath. But everything else I think still keeps it.
Why?
I think it's just Sony trying to be advertiser friendly.
Boo!
Yeah.
Hey, Sony, give me back my nudity. All right?
John Wick's going to be in the game, and I read this very interesting tweet.
Okay.
So John Wick, he's a video game character now.
Okay.
Or Keanu Reeves, but he's a video game character now. Very popular series, Fortnite and Cyberpunk 2077. Okay. Do you know what that means?
What?
He's coming to Smash.
I don't think so.
I'm going to stab Mario in the ear with a pencil.
It's not happening. John Wick and Super Smash Brothers.
It's going to be amazing.
Oh, God. Next one.
We didn't think we got Bayonetta. We got Bayonetta.
Yeah, you got Bayonetta in there.
Yeah.
And you also have Banjo-Kazooie that's coming to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing from the Nintendo one. Okay. Next, Borderlands 3. I know you're excited about that. We talked about this on the show.
I'm pretty excited. I like the way the new characters look. What I like is it doesn't look like it's too different from the other ones, but it's still an upgrade. played.
Okay.
So I think it's going. I think it has a lot of promise. When the game comes out, and also with Call of Duty Modern Warfare, when those come out, you can see on Steve Squared that we're going to be doing streams of that.
All right,
and
Call of
Nigel,
Duty.
you can tune in and join us.
Yeah. All right, Call of Duty Modern Warfare was the next one.
Yeah.
Xbox Project Scarlet.
It's from what I heard, it's going to be heavily cloud based. The big thing at Xbox, I don't know if you got a screenshot of it, is their new subscription service.
I didn't see that. No.
Okay, so their new subscription service is Xbox Game Pass, but for PC and for console.
Okay.
So the way they advertise it right now, you can get $1 for $1 for the first month. You get Game Pass for PC,
Okay.
Game Pass for console, crossplay compatibility, which is already involved because if you use Windows and you buy it from the store, that's the caveat, Windows Store.
Right.
And you also get Xbox Gold.
Okay.
So for $15 a month, that's what it's going to come out to for the months subsequent to this one.
All right. Well, it's 8K resolution, 120 frames per second.
All right. They say the keyword up to 8K resolution.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to give that. I think it's going to be a really good console. I'm really hoping Xbox comes back to the main frame of it. But the good thing is that we got the Master Chief Collection on PC, and you can buy them individually each game.
Cool.
So.
Solid state drive as well.
Yeah, they were like bragging about the SSD. They said they're using virtual RAM. I got to see how that works.
We'll see how it works when it happens.
Just download more RAM, dude.
All right, this is from the Nintendo press conference. I got a lot of stuff from Nintendo. Animal Crossing is delayed, but it looks great. Next, Cadence of Hyrule is launching soon. That's a musical spinoff of the Zelda series.
Yeah, that's the rhythm game, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't look that interesting to me.
Okay. Panzer Dragoon.
Which one was that?
It's going to Switch. That's basically. I don't know if you ever played that. I remember that from back in the day.
No, I don't think I
it's
did.
like a dragon type thing. It's a new version that enhances the graphics, and it's launching this winter.
Okay.
Daemon X Machina. Do you know that one?
Is that looks? I watched the entire press conference, but the names didn't resonate with me.
Oh, it's okay.
That was the mech one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty cool.
All right. No More Heroes 3 was announced.
So many people are so hyped for that. That's what studio made that? That was does it say?
Go Chisuda. Let's see. No, it doesn't.
It doesn't?
Yeah.
I know
No
No More
screenshot.
Heroes 2 was really famous. I think that was a Wii exclusive.
Okay.
It was a really famous. It's a fun game. It's like a beat 'em up style thing.
Gotcha.
And
Never played it.
It looks like it'll be fun. There's a lot of games coming out soon too. So
Resident Evil 5 and 6 are coming to the Switch.
that's pretty cool. I'll play Resident Evil 6 on the Switch, even though a lot of movies are now taking the Resident Evil 6 plot.
Yeah.
So
The Witcher 3, we talked about this off air. The Witcher 3 is coming to.
How's it going to happen? Because all right,
I told you the batteries are going to die right before you even start playing.
Well, batteries for like if you're playing Breath of the Wild, that's a 2-3 hour endeavor.
Right.
But like Witcher 3, I played that game on my PC. It came free with my graphics card on my PC when I built it. For all any of you hardware geeks, I have what's called the GTX 960, or I did back in the day. 5 years ago back in the day. But the game didn't run superbly well on that graphics card, which costs more than the Switch. So it baffles me that they're getting it to run on the Switch at all. From what I heard, it's going to be capped at 720p. I don't know if it's going to be a good experience because The Witcher is such a game where you just sit there and get absorbed. Like you can cut Geralt's hair and you can let it grow out. It's like that kind of game. So having that on the Switch is not really play on the go. It's more of like play on the plane on your way to your next destination, which you can't do if there's
This
battery
is something
issues.
that you have to be sitting there for a long time to play.
Have you played it or no?
The Witcher is a very long game. I have played it, yes.
Yeah, because Witcher, there's also so many different endings.
Right, and there's so many different things that you have to do to finish it. More than Breath of the Wild. So, all right, next one. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening.
That's the remake, right?
Yeah.
That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I would play it. I like Legend of Zelda. I like playing the old ones as well too. So
I want to see Legend of Zelda 2 remake. I feel like that'd be pretty cool.
Why?
It's such a hardcore game.
I rather Majora's Mask.
They did it.
Or Ocarina of Time.
They did it.
They redid that.
Yeah, 3DS.
Yeah, but I don't
It
wanna
looks
play-
so good.
Does it?
It does.
All
It looks
right.
really good. And it also works with the C-Stick.
Okay. All right, next one. So, Dark Crystal meets Final Fantasy Tactics. Yeah, the movie The Dark Crystal, made by Frank Oz back in the 80s. Not happy. Okay, next one. Luigi's Mansion 3.
I'm going to let you take this one. I was never huge on Luigi's Mansion.
I never knew there was a Luigi's Mansion 2.
All right, I guess I'm going to take this one.
Yeah, I never knew there was a Luigi's Mansion 2.
Yeah, it was on.
I remember the
it was
first
on
one.
Wii U, I think.
It was on Wii U.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
Wii U.
I had it at the end of its lifetime.
I had it
for
in the
last
beginning
year.
of its lifeline. Like when Hyrule Warriors came out, like I had it, and then I was like, let me return this game.
Hyrule Warriors that's a game that's worth it for portable use, not for home play.
Not for home play.
It's just Dynasty Warriors in general kind of games. But it's just like it's a puzzle game with a little bit of that spooky undertone to it.
I just remember the first one.
It
on GameCube.
This never really did too much for me. But
me either.
If it does it for you guys, have fun.
Breath of the Wild is getting a sequel.
Yes, they didn't show much. They just showed a little bit of all they really showed for it was just a little bit of showing like a demon looking thing, like an undead creature. And they also showed,
means they're not ready yet.
And I think they showed Hyrule Castle being lifted into the air.
Okay.
And that was pretty much it. So it looks like it might be the same map. Who knows?
So yeah, that's the last thing I have for Geek News. Anything else you want to?
That's all you have for E3?
I mean, you told me like 5 minutes ago to screenshot stuff.
30. No, I thought you were just going to get like a list of them straight down.
No, I couldn't get a list.
No, all right. Good thing. Wow, we're making good progress.
Yeah.
I want to touch upon Halo Master Chief Collection.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that, and the new Halo that's coming out with Project Scarlet.
Yeah, so I'll get into that right after.
Mm-hmm.
Halo Master Chief Collection. You have Halo 1, 2, 3, 3 ODST, 4, and Reach coming to PC.
Mm-hmm.
The release dates weren't confirmed from what I heard. You can buy Halos 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 3 are going to be remastered. I think 2's a remade campaign, like in the style of Combat Evolved. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and Reach you can buy for $10 each.
Mm-hmm.
For PC. I know for me, I'm probably just going to get 3 and Reach. And then you can get 3 ODST for $5 on the Windows Store and Steam. I think it comes later on Steam. But those games are also going to be Game Pass ready. So when if you get the Game Pass and they come out, you can play it, I think, like a few days early, too. Mm-hmm. Looking at those games, though, you have... it looks like that what they did with the optimization is kind of similar to if you... I don't know if you know about it, but for Halo 5, they did like a Forge mode thing on PC. Mm-hmm. All you can do on PC was Forge mode. People took that engine and they remade, they did what's called Halo Online, fan-made project, cease and desisted. But you can play like all the Halo games like that.
But how long ago was the last Halo?
Halo 5?
Yeah.
2-3 years ago. It's still fun if you play Arena SWAT, but what looks really interesting about it is the fact that it runs like a port should. Mm-hmm. So it shows that Microsoft is paying attention to PC. In fact, they're doing a full remake of Flight Simulator, of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Okay. So that game just looks gorgeous. You can fly like around the big cities now, and like it looks really nice. Halo Infinite, they didn't show much. They showed a man who wiped the screen, like he wiped the fog off the glass. He sees Master Chief, brings Master Chief in. Cortana's not there. Sorry for spoilers from Halo 4. You should have played it. Master Chief, he just kind of says, "Oh, what's the mission?" He's like, "What mission?" And then it cuts it. No gameplay.
Right.
Gears 5, that was announced.
Okay.
They said they're going to try and take it down whole new routes. They're showing new gameplay modes. Seems kind of interesting. Nothing really.
Yeah. So you watched the Xbox one. I didn't.
I watched them all.
Yeah, I'm not an Xbox guy.
For Fallout 76, they're bringing NPCs into the game.
Why?
I don't know. My bassist Moose over there, if you're listening, screw you, Moose. I'm not getting Fallout 76 still. It's free with gold right now on Xbox
because it's a bad game.
Yeah, but I don't have the interest to play it. It feels Russian, like, hey, we're fixing it, but you know what? I just don't have the time to put into something that may cause me extreme pain. Mm-hmm. I have enough anxiety as is. Please don't add that to me.
Okay.
But I think that's a lot of the big stuff for E3. And
if we miss anything, we'll probably get back to it next week.
If we miss anything, we'll discuss it in more detail next week. We have a bunch of reviews this week.
Sure.
Some stuff I want to stick my teeth into.
Also, the Stranger Things video game I didn't talk about. Sorry. Yeah, so they're coming out with a Stranger Things video game July 4th.
Is it going to be as bad as the Dungeons & Dragons one?
I don't know.
Sorry for that, fellas. The Dungeons & Dragons game, we were looking to get it. We heard really terrible things about it, so we're going to do our own homebrew campaigns. But you guys, it's still going to be there for you.
So it's basically a puzzle game that's coming out for the PS4, Xbox, PC, and mobile devices.
Okay.
They didn't show any gameplay, but
I know the new season comes out next month?
It comes out July 4th, same day.
Wow.
So the same day that this comes out, if they
didn't show any gameplay, it's not going to be good. I can almost guarantee you that. They're trying to cash in on the money. And there's one game that Nintendo teamed up with Netflix for, and it looks really not good.
I don't know.
It was in the Nintendo press conference or in the direct. It doesn't look good to me.
Yeah, no. But that's all for geek news. Let's get into the next movie. Okay, so what movie do you want to do first?
I got to see the list.
All right, we got Ma, Rocketman, X-Men, and your movie.
All right,
Endless.
let's start off. Let's start with Ma.
All right, Ma. So Ma, I guess I'll start off. So Ma is a psychological thriller that has these 5 young teens who want to get some drinks, and they can't because they don't have ID. They find this older lady in there. She's a little creepy, but she says, "Hey, I'll buy you some drinks. Why don't you come over to my house?" Which is kind of rapey. Yeah. But what ends up happening is that this lady is completely insane. She basically is obsessed with these kids and seems like she's obsessed with their parents as well.
Yeah, they kind of built her as that grandma kind of character, like, that really nice, comfortable grandma. Like, the kids are asking people for booze, and like, any of you kids who've ever stood outside a store asking for adults going in for booze, you aim for the guys that are like 21 or 22 who like had that goes like, man, I had to ask people for booze when I was younger, so I'm going to buy booze for these kids. Like that, like those kinds of people. Right. But instead they ask this girl who works at a veterinary clinic, like,
who's not that great at her job,
and she's also she's not great at her job, and she's probably like, I want to say 50s in the movie, so like that's not really the target you're looking for, and it's really it's already a red flag. But going into the movie, the way it starts is kind of cool. It's like just like, a girl moves into a new town. She's hanging out with like some new friends that she met. Her mom gets like a new job at like a casino as a waitress. But like she wears like one of those Hooters style outfits with the really short skirts.
They all wear those at the casinos.
Yeah, and it starts off like promising. What I didn't like about the movie is every time like I saw Ma come on screen, I didn't feel uncomfortable. I'm just like, ugh, what's going on? I instantly started enjoying the movie less.
It's not that I enjoyed the movie less. Like I saw what was going on. I really wanted to see what was. Every time I saw her, I was like, she is bonkers. She's crazy. Like, that's all I kept thinking. I was like,
if you're following the girl back and she says, hey, come to my house. Oh, you can come drink down here.
Yeah.
It's like, how many red flags are you going to have?
Or she was very aggressive with, like, the teenagers at some points.
Yeah.
And she had her daughter locked up in the upstairs.
Yeah, I mean, is it 2 weeks yet?
It's past 2 weeks, yeah.
Is it past 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, so spoilers. One thing I really didn't like with Ma is the direction of the movie. A lot of their kids are gonna make dumb mistakes, but they're also acting like just generally dumb for like even when I was their age, which is weird to say when I was their age. I'm still young. I'm 22. Damn it, I'm a youthful boy.
But most of the actors are the same age.
Yeah, I know. But there's a lot of the Ma, like it was revealed that she grew up in that town. She was bullied when she was younger. She was subjected to an act of fellatio, which is sexual harassment, because she thought she was like
that's rape actually.
She thought she was having sex or performing sexual actions on someone else,
right?
And they did the old switcheroo.
Yeah,
and like I get it, it's a very vile, disgusting action, but. Like she inhibited it into rage, looked up the kids on social media, saw, oh, this is the son of that guy who bullied me, this is the daughter of that girl who bullied me.
And she went to go get revenge.
She took that internal aggression and then projected it on people whose fault it wasn't.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what made her character semi-interesting, but also at the same time is like, at some point, you're like, all right, this girl's kind of weird. I'm just not going to talk to her anymore. And they tried establishing that, but this girl, like, she sends a video to like the chat about it.
Yeah.
And like and Ma was still in the chat, I think.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Well, my issue with it is that, when we get to the parents, Ma is older than the parents. The parents look younger than Ma.
Well, also, I think it just might have been how time treated them.
No. Because I know certain people who I look younger than that I went to high school with. So it's not. I
mean, I look older than my brother apparently, and yeah.
Well, I wanted to say black don't crack, but
so what's the white version of that?
You guys age like spoiled milk. I'm sorry.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm sorry to tell you. I was trying to dance around the bush, but yeah.
No, he just trimmed the hedges right.
I had to rip the Band-Aid off. Sorry, people, but you guys spoil.
Oh man, the
But,
encouraging words of my co-host.
Hey, I'm sorry, but yeah, when I watched this, I saw that she is older than the rest of. Like, I couldn't tell when they did the flashbacks in the movie. I couldn't tell if this was 80s, if this was 90s, and it should be the 90s, right? Because if I'm thinking this correctly,
Well, you just get the sepia filter and it looks good. It looks old.
But if I'm thinking it correctly, like I can't think of their names right now, but it'll come back to me. But they look around 45, 46,
Yeah.
which would be the average. Ma is about. She looks like she's in her 50s.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, is this in the 80s or is this in the 90s? And these people don't look the same age. What I did like cringe at, like there was a couple things that I did cringe at, and I guess since it is 2 weeks past, I can say some things. So who was like that crazy girlfriend of what's his name? I can't even think of his name right now. He was in Fast and Furious, and I can't think of his name. Luke Evans.
Which one was Luke Evans?
Luke Evans was the father. The father in the movie, the one that she tried to cut his dick off.
Oh, the one with the
Thank you.
with Hawkins.
Thank you, everybody.
Hawkins.
Yes.
That guy. Yeah. Okay. 'Cause I just remember it was like Hawkins Security.
Yeah, that's Luke Evans.
So what was your issue with that? His girlfriend Mercedes.
His girlfriend Mercedes. Like I cheered, and I think a lot of people in the movie there cheered when Ma finally got her revenge on her.
That was when she just ran her over, right?
She ran the hell out of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. She was a bit of a I don't want to curse, a bad person.
Yeah, I was trying not to curse also, but like my movie theater cheered. I don't know about yours.
My movie, all right. I sat next to like some of the most annoying people in my movie theater.
Okay.
Like every time the smallest thing happens, going next to me, it's like,
oh,
and I'm like, oh my god, it's just like a simple thriller. There were a lot of jump scares in that movie, though.
there is, and I did that on purpose.
Yeah, well, of course. That's the only way they can get the horror element in. All right, to wrap up Ma, it's a pretty forgettable movie.
I didn't like the ending. I think everything else was cool.
She goes and sleeps with the guy in the burning house.
Yeah, everything else was cool. The ending was like weird to me.
But Ma, with the movie, it's like when I saw it, I was having a mildly good time. That was really it. I thought it was like a kind of an average movie. And as I left the theater, I just found myself not really thinking about it. And then like now it comes to the show and we're reviewing it. And I checked before the show started what we were reviewing.
Right.
I saw Mom, like, oh yeah, I saw that movie. And then I sat down here like, what are we reviewing? And you said Mom, like, oh yeah, I saw that movie. So not worth the watch. Even if you're like just drunk with friends, it's just not worth it.
Yeah,
not even to poke holes in.
Yeah, don't spend your money on this movie. I'm sorry to say that. That's the first time I've ever said that about a movie.
Yeah,
but yeah,
and we got there for free.
If you can watch it when you're at home,
yeah.
and it's on HBO.
If you can, no, even then, don't give them like the revenue. Just don't watch it. All right.
Well, the next movie will go for Rocketman.
Okay. All right. So,
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I haven't seen Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay.
So, I wasn't really in for what to expect with this whole new biopic craze.
Yeah.
But Rocketman protagonist, I think his last name's Egerton. Mm-hmm. He played Eggsy in Kingsman, and he did a great job.
Yeah. I mean, for the character, yeah.
You don't think he did a good job?
Listen, I didn't like this movie.
Neither did I, but you have to give him.
He did do a great job.
He did a good job singing.
Right, singing and everything.
He did a good job playing the character. He did a good job.
Listen, I liked him as Elton John. I did not like the movie.
Yeah, I think he did a good job. When he comes into the room, he can feel it with the emotion that he's feeling.
Right.
And I like how he was just kind of like a kid thrust in emotion. However, the movie isn't accurate. So if you're looking for accuracy, don't go there.
Oh.
Because his first show, he didn't go on wearing like spandex and such. He went on wearing flannel.
Okay.
So it's not really like that.
He was trying to be a bear.
Yeah. So going into that movie, you got to go in there expecting just like to have the fun. If you're a Elton John fan, to have fun with it.
Right.
The movie isn't really songs sung by Elton John. A lot of it's just like
some by Egerton
remixed or whatever. But first thing I just want to explain before going into this movie.
Okay.
It's a musical.
Yeah. This is Elton John, the musical.
Nigel texted me in the movie. He's like, is this a musical? I'm like, is it not supposed to be?
It's not supposed to be. A biopic, I've seen many of these. I've seen Ray Charles. I've seen the Dirt. I've seen Bohemian Rhapsody. I've seen many.
Which one's your favorite?
Out of those three?
Yeah.
I would have to say Ray Charles, to be honest with you. Bohemian Rhapsody was good, but it was more like fanfare. Like if you're a fan of Queen, then you're gonna really like it because you're gonna sit there and sing all the songs. But they perform the songs. It's different.
Yeah, like
it's different with Elton John. With this Elton John movie, what it was like they would break into song.
Hey, Steve.
They would break into song like at the grocery store. Like they would break into song like he's getting his car fixed, and they start breaking in the song.
That's like the difference. Well, first of all, when I texted Nigel before I seen the movie, I'm like, I hope no one in the theater starts singing. In fact, like about 20 minutes into the movie, I'm like, all right, I need a beer. And I went.
People were singing?
No one was singing, but I'm just like, I'm not enjoying this because like you have him as a kid singing Rocketman and playing it on the piano.
Exactly. He didn't write these songs already. It wasn't accurate.
And I'm like, is he a prodigy? Is he like Tchaikovsky? Like Tchaikovsky but he heard full symphonies in his head when he was a child.
This was Elton John the musical.
What they tried, so they played a lot of like the big songs, but what they tried to do it for is for exposition, and it didn't really expose anything about the plot, didn't teach you anything. The only time they played a song and I thought it was relevant to how the movie was when they played Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
Okay.
On like Elton John's Ascension to Madness.
Right. And I didn't like his boyfriend either.
I think that was the point.
I think that was the point.
But looking at my issue with the movie is that if he was on stage and he sang, see, they recreated some really iconic Elton John moments.
Right.
And I respect Elton John as a musician, and as a musician myself, even though I'm nowhere on his caliber and I'll probably never be on his caliber, I respect seeing that behind the scenes kind of stuff, and I wish I kind of got more of that. It gives you a little bit of that intrinsic look, but in a very shallow intrinsic look into the industry back then.
See, my thing is, like, I compare this to Bohemian Rhapsody because this was the last big biopic that I saw from a musician. So when I look at that, and it was, rave reviews about that, and then you watch this, it's like, so wait a minute, so I don't get to see him perform these songs that I love? He
performed some of them.
I know, but he's like
the way they did it, like, for example, I forgot what song he performed, like one of his big hits, and I think it was it Still Standing, I think it was,
right,
where he performed on stage and he did his like signature like kick his feet up in the air while he was playing piano,
and that's cool,
and then he started flying.
That's cool, but I want to see you perform Tiny Dancer too.
Yeah, but like,
and not like sing it like at in your living room.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
I have nothing against musicals. The same thing with this is the same thing I attribute to Disney movies.
Okay,
it's a bit more.
This was a Disney movie,
but like with Disney movies, the reason I'm not a huge fan of them is because I go in there looking for a movie and I want the plot of a movie.
Right.
And I appreciate the music and the work that goes into the music, and I think it's incredibly well done. Better stuff that I could do myself.
Right.
I just don't want that when I'm trying to see a movie. Like within Elton John, within the first like 20 or 30 minutes, there's 3 songs.
Yeah, I didn't. I text you that.
And the movie was going on?
Long. I fell asleep. I did. Remember I told you I wish I was sleeping?
Yeah.
Yo, like 30 minutes later, I couldn't because I didn't like the movie, like as I was watching it, and I got a good like hour 15 in, and then I was like, yo, I don't like this movie, and the reason why I didn't like it is because I was told that this was going to be a biopic, not a musical. Had you told me it was going to be a musical, then maybe I would have been like,
when they started,
all right, cool.
Before I saw the movie, when they started selling CDs of the soundtrack, I'm like, this isn't a good sign.
Okay,
that's where my.
I mean, they usually do that for biopics
if it's like a compilation of the songs in the movie, but they did it with Eggy singing it, and I'm like,
yeah,
he's a good musician.
He's a good musician. Don't get me wrong. I didn't particularly. I loved his performance. I didn't particularly care for what was going on, what I was seeing.
And I still laugh whenever they started busting out the music because, like, as a musician too, there's like so many little things. Like, it's nitpicky, but like, for example, when he starts singing in like a big room, but it sounds like he's right up close against a microphone,
right,
like this. You're like, what? My eyes and ears aren't interacting with each other right now. And like, or when he's in the studio with a girl and they're recording a duet together. And,
that one, that part.
And like, they're against the mic without a pop filter.
Yeah.
I'm like, what kind of rookie stuff is? We have these. We're talking. We're not even talking we're talking here.
Well, that was back then.
But even back then, they still had them.
Yeah, true.
And they're using expensive microphones. Like, I heard stories of this vocalist who was singing into a $1,200 ribbon mic, and because of the pop filter they were using, which wasn't good enough,
right,
his spit got through the metal pop filter. It put condensation on the ribbon in the microphone and then broke the ribbon.
No good.
So
those
why
are
are you
expensive back then too?
No, but even nowadays, like, so why are you not going to put a pop filter on that microphone?
I don't know.
Anyway, I'm kind of ranting about stuff that no one cares about.
It's okay.
But overall, I heard mixed things from my friends, right? So I have friends who said if it was a musical, I'd be fine with it. I had other friends, including myself, if it was a biopic, I would have been fine with it.
If it was a biopic, I would have been fine with it. But it's not a biopic.
The blend was awkward.
Very awkward.
If you want that blend, go in to watch it. If you want to see Eggy sing the songs, go watch it. I wouldn't personally recommend watching it. If I was watching it on my own, I probably wouldn't power through with it because when the plot came back on, I was interested again.
Right.
But when the plot turned into music, then I'm like, okay, fast forward.
And I get it. There's been a lot of biopics lately, and we're kind of tired of them. But as a person like me who watches documentaries, so like that's my thing. That's where I get the story of what I want, and without the fluff. So with this being a biopic, and like I said, for me being in that, I was in an actual biopic, and I watched
good one too. Watch it, Roxanne.
But see, the thing was with Roxanne. There weren't that many performances in there. There wasn't that many.
And what's so good about it is the performances that were in there were crucial to the plot.
Exactly.
Because like the performances that were there is Vinny says he cares about those things. What things? I'm sorry, I forgot what I said.
Yeah, I don't know what things you care about, Vinny, but it's cool.
No, but when you're in Roxanne, they were on stage for a performance that was crucial. There was like maybe 3 or 4 performances in the movie.
Yeah,
and they were all very crucial to the plot.
And they wanted, and that's what when I talked to the director, he wanted that. He didn't want it to be based off your typical biopic, which is perform. Because sometimes people do go to these movies to sing the Elton John songs or to sing the Queen songs. So, but a lot of times, some people go to watch a movie, and you want to see a story.
I think they did a good job with Straight Outta Compton too. I think that was a good blend.
But it was okay.
I'm not saying the movie. I'm just saying the blend.
Yeah,
it was a good mixture. But with when you're going into these things, it's just like there's such a line you got to ride, you know?
Yeah.
Between where it gets boring, like our show. But overall, don't watch the movie. I don't recommend it.
All right, X-Men.
Yeah. Or do you want to go Endless? I could do a quick 1-2 on Endless.
Let's do Endless for what we're watching. How about that?
Okay.
I'll do When They See Us for what we're watching, and you do Endless.
Good stuff.
So, X-Men.
Dark Phoenix.
So Dark Phoenix has been done better.
In a critically hated movie.
Yeah, everybody doesn't like this movie.
I don't hate it. I was actually watching with a friend, and I leaned over and I'm like, this movie isn't that terrible, is it? And they're like, no. But then the movie continued.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I think the problem with Dark Phoenix, and we don't have to explain this movie for you guys. A lot of you have watched the X-Men movies. They've been around for about 20 years now. We were never invested in these characters. Jean Grey was presented to us in Apocalypse, and the Cyclops character, we were never invested in these two characters.
Yeah.
So I don't believe their love story. So I'm not invested in that. The people I am invested in didn't get that much screen time.
Yeah.
You know, your Mystiques, your Magnetos. Like I want more of that. We also attribute X-Men to Wolverine. We're getting more of these X-Men movies without Wolverine, and that's not cool too.
Well, he doesn't want to play the role.
I know, but we could have got somebody else to play.
I want to put this in place right now. I want to dig into this movie, so we're going to have to put a spoiler warning right there.
Oh, you want
to? If you guys want to see Dark Phoenix, which right now, I'm going to say right off the bat so you can hear the rating, I don't recommend watching it. Unless you're a diehard fan, but I don't recommend it. It's kind of boring. What do you think, Nigel?
This movie's boring.
Okay, so that's our perspectives of it overall. So this way, if you, sorry, Moose, we're gonna go in spoiler territory.
Sorry, Moose.
Got to tune out. But I want to talk really heavily into the plot. I'm not going to talk about the direct ending. But you
mean the ending that they had to change because it was too close to Captain Marvel?
But I just want to go into this movie a bit. Okay. Jean Grey got her powers by absorbing solar energy, a solar flare. I didn't care about that.
Okay.
And like the movie, when it starts off kind of cool, you know. It's like it starts off with like Professor Xavier like saving this girl, and he's like, listen, I understand you have these powers and you can't control them, and your parents died. I need to take care of you for that. And that made sense. And then like she starts getting defiant. She wasn't defiant in the other movies, but I thought from the beginning, I thought the movie was going to be a internal conflict based movie structure. Like I thought like the whole like rise would be her like just getting like that conflict building up and then like unleashing on the X-Men. And then they brought
like X-Men: The Last Stand.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and I would have been fine with that. But as I'm watching, I'm thinking that's what's happening.
Right.
It was becoming more and more like what's the plot, you know? And then they brought in a villain who looks like a possum. She looks like a possum.
Jessica Chastain does not look like a possum.
She looks like a possum. Pull up a picture of her. Pull up a picture of a possum and tell me you don't see it in her eyes, her soulless eyes. At first I thought ferret, but I'm like, no, possum. But no, they brought her on. She's an alien, and like looking at, and as I'm watching the movie with her interacting with Jean Grey, I'm like, okay, nothing's really happening here. You see Jean's like internal conflict is starting to build up, but the writing is what really gets in the movie. The script is cheesy. There's this one line where they say, your emotions make you weak, and then she's like, no, my emotions make me strong.
Yeah, they fixed that in reshoots.
And I don't.
They fixed that in reshoots.
I get what they were going for, but they should just hire just more competent writers for that.
So you know what's funny about this? You know, and this movie had a darker tone as opposed to the other movies. Like this was darker and grittier. So darker movies don't work for the summer blockbuster because it's the start of Brightburn is different though, because Brightburn had it. Brightburn was presented as something dark.
It doesn't work for summer movies unless it works.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the difference between Brightburn and Dark Phoenix is because Dark Phoenix was supposed to be a blockbuster. Brightburn wasn't supposed to be a blockbuster. You know, so we weren't expecting that to be a blockbuster. It was
also directed by Jim Gunn.
True, but we're not expecting it to be a blockbuster because it's not that typical story that we're used to.
And speaking of blockbusters, the movie really wasn't filmed like it.
It wasn't.
One thing with these kinds of movies is like if you don't like the plot or the writing, you could at least enjoy the fights, and you can't really do that here. I was actually laughing at some of the fights here, and watching the movie, I thought this was just another X-Men movie. I didn't know this was going to be the final for the series.
No, it's final. It's done.
And like
done.
Why wouldn't I get that feel when watching the movie?
You don't.
Like they're killing off. I'm not going to say who, but they're killing off crucial members of the X-Men. And what?
I was going to say who it was.
Okay. They're killing off crucial members of the X-Men, and like the X-Men are kind of going crazy, acting really out of character.
Yep.
You have Magneto coming in as another somewhat villain, like with his own motives. But my God, Michael Fassbender, he gave that role so much depth.
But he's been doing that. He's been doing that for all of the X-Men movies.
He took what he was given and he made it into his own, and he showed a really layered
Same thing with
Magneto.
James McAvoy.
Yeah, James McAvoy. I still look at him as like the guy from Split, as Kevin Wendell Crumb. But with this movie, they don't really give you that direction, you know? They don't show you what's going on that makes it final. And even when the movie ends and then I Google, I'm like, oh, this is the final movie.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, this movie was supposed to be seen in February, but Fox said that they didn't want it to be too close to Alita: Battle Angel.
it was also apparently the worst charting X-Men movie like ever, right? I think
it's not as bad as X-Men Origins. Wolverine.
No, I'm saying like for box office.
Box office, yes.
I think it brought in $140 million.
Yes, box office, yes. But not the worst X-Men movie.
No, I'm not saying the worst. I'm saying the worst charting. Actually, a lot of people view it as the worst X-Men movie. Because like if you take and you compare it to other X-Men movies, I think that I enjoyed Origins more than this movie.
Last Stand. No. See?
Okay. But looking at you got my mind in a twist. But this movie's coming off the heels of Endgame, right?
Yeah.
Endgame, just like why I commend Breaking Bad.
Right.
You feel the tension building up, and you're at the end now, and it feels like the end of the series. With this movie, you don't feel that, and like I've not once been excited for an X-Men movie in my life. I was excited for Logan. But I don't count
I was excited for Logan.
I don't count that as an X-Men
I was excited for the first X-Men movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, that wasn't like
It was deflated.
Yeah.
But I was excited for that.
But as I'm seeing the movies as they're coming out, and I saw most of them in theaters, I'm just like,
Yeah. I mean, to come off the heels, not only Endgame, to come off the heels of the last really bad Dark Phoenix saga.
Yeah.
When you tried this 10 years
actually
ago,
worse.
it's actually I don't understand. You know,
People are even saying like when they saw the original Dark Phoenix writing, it's like the next time it's got to be better if they redo it.
Exactly.
Just do House of M. If you did House of M, that would have been a safe bet.
What's the funny thing is, like, I remember the X-Men cartoon and the Dark Phoenix saga there.
It was so good.
And it was so good. And you give us this crap.
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand it. But
Yeah, but just wrapping this up. I'm looking at my own too. Not a big fan of this movie. I don't think you should watch it. It really doesn't contribute anything to your life in the slightest. I don't think I'll remember this. Just like I forgot, I confused. What was
Apocalypse?
it? Apocalypse and what else?
Days of Future
Days of
Past.
Future Past. I confused those two movies, and that's not good.
Yeah.
There's one scene I thought was cool, which they had in Days of Future Past, is with what's his name, the guy who goes quick, the quick dude, Quicksilver. He I like his scenes a lot. I find those are really fun to watch.
But
they did one scene of that in this movie and it sucked.
The one real big critique I really don't like about this is the fact that nobody ages in these X-Men movies. Like, how did you go from 60 to 90 and nobody aged 30 years?
Yeah. Well, anyway, there might be hope with
the mutant gene.
Mutants, but that's it. All right. Next up.
So what we're watching. So I guess I'll go first. I watched this 4-part documentary. Well, it's not a documentary. It's a mini series called When They See Us. It's about the Central Park 5
When did
case.
they see you?
Well, they see me all the time, especially on Wednesday nights on the Jump Cut. But When They See Us is basically a movie, not a movie, a miniseries about these 5 teenagers that were accused of raping a woman in Central Park. The police had no clues, no evidence, no anything. They just knew that these kids were in the park, and they tried to coerce confessions out of them. They made it so they said, hey, if you tell us something, we'll let you go home. That was the deal.
Okay.
And basically these kids went to jail for some of them went to jail for 7 years, some of them went to jail for 13 years. And what happened, and this is a true case, what happened was in 2002 the original person, the rapist, actually confessed to raping this woman, and they were all exonerated. But it took them years to get justice. It took them years to get money from New York City, and a lot of people doubted them. Donald Trump, Mayor Bloomberg. There were so many people that were saying such hateful and vile things about these kids, even though they didn't do it. Now, you know,
they didn't do nothing.
Yeah. Now in 2014 or 2016, they received $41 million when De Blasio came in.
Awesome.
Yeah. So if you can watch it, it's on Netflix.
I was planning on watching it, but I had to watch press conferences.
It's all good.
I watched The Endless, a Groundhog Day thriller, pretty much. The movie basically, these two brothers, they go back to this cult town that they grew up in. They see weird things going on, like they see things falling from the sky. They see things that, like, weird things at the bottom of the ocean. They see like it's just a lot of really weird oddities. And just I'm watching it, and I was not invested in a single character in that movie. Like, nothing they were doing made sense to me. And as I'm like watching it, I'm just like, why are you doing these things? What's happening? And even with the ending, with it explained, and I actually spoke to my friend Ryan, who I saw this with. I'm like, did that movie do anything for you? Nope. And he's like, no. And I'm like, do you know even the names of the characters?
Nope.
And he said no. And I'm bad with that, but I was actually listening for this.
Who are you?
In fact, they said the name of one of the characters, and I said it out loud to make a mental note, and I still forgot. But overall, that's like the whole point of that movie just didn't make sense to me. And it started off kind of with that Resident Evil 4 style thing, going to that cult village, trying to like find out some information and everything. It's just play Resident Evil 4, man. And there's also that game, which I also forgot to mention, from E3, 12 Minutes.
Okay, I didn't
Did you
see that one. No.
Oh, it looks so cool. Basically, from what I gathered from the trailer, is it's an over-the-top style narrative-driven experience between a guy and his girlfriend, a guy trying to save his girlfriend's life in a Groundhog Day type scenario. And you have 12 minutes to save her life, enacting through all the scenarios over and over and over and over again. And it looks pretty pretty cool. I'm just getting really sick of the Groundhog Day stuff. Like we saw, what was it, Russian Doll? Like it was it was a really good show, but
Marlon Wayans has a movie called Naked where he's like,
it was a really good show, but like, how many times could you see that? You know?
Yeah.
I think they did that Groundhog Day thing really well in Russian Doll, but overall, I don't recommend watching The Endless. But next week we have a surprise for you guys. We're going to review Chernobyl.
Ooh.
The 4-part series talking about the true events that happened in Pripyat of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant overloading and exploding. And all the damage it caused, going into the lives of everyone. And a little fun fact, a little teaser leading into it. Apparently, the girl who worked on the soundtrack recorded it inside the power plant to get those eerie sounds and eerie feels. And she went around and she was like looking at things and she was like examining the scenario. It's really interesting. I'm really excited to watch it. I couldn't watch it this week because we were just overloaded on content.
That's all good.
And that's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
Because we really stretch our crap out. But watch the show this weekend. We'll be with you next week to see it. I'm Steve.
I'm Nigel.
This is the Jump Cut. Before we go, anything you want to say? What's coming up? You got to plug?
Well, I'll plug the stuff while you turn off the feed.
Okay. So first, let me say mine then, if I'm going to be away from the mic. My band Elisions, Elisions, has a new single coming out pretty soon. We just finished the mixing process. We have very minor tweaks, and then we're going to be done with that. Release it. We have our album on the way, about halfway recorded with vocals. Follow us on Facebook and to see teasers and such coming up. Follow me on Instagram at Drakentas_, Instagram and Twitter, DRAKONTAS_. And here goes Nigel. Yeah,
well, I'll be performing at the Bolton Center in Bayshore, Long Island. That is on Main Street. This Friday, 8 p.m. You can find tickets on their website. Also, you can follow me at Nigel Fulton _ on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you guys for watching the Jump Cut. Please subscribe to Area 22 Productions on Facebook so you can get all of our stuff. Please come to our Patreon as well. And Twitch. And also our YouTube page. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you.
All.
Good night.
Good night.